Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie and I'm going to be going over my December TBR. Now, as I'm sure you will have noticed, most of the books on my bookshelves are gone. I am sitting in a pile of boxes of books. I've been slowly but surely packing up my entire office for our move in 2 weeks. So I've been documenting a little bits here and there for the actual move. But yeah, most of, I believe here up and my special edition shelves are all packed up and ready to move because these will probably be the first things that get moved because books are heavy and cumbersome and it'll just be a great time. But I still have a TBR planned for December. I have 15 days before our actual move to get stuff done. So I'm going to do my December TBR. Starting off with the usual, my reread to finish a series. The series for this month is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Now this is a spin-off series of Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, which I've read everything up until King of Scars. So I have not read Rule of Wolves, and with the show gaining more traction, I'm really hoping that they will eventually dive into the Six of Crows storyline, and then they'll dive into the King of Scars storyline. So I want to be able to understand what's going on. Plus, I love Nikolai. I really liked King of Scars. It was really fun and a unique take. Plus, again, being in Nikolai's head was probably one of my favorite things, so I'm really pumped for Rule of Wolves. Now I just have so much room I can display all my books with. The next one I have is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This has been sitting on my shelves for a while now because the last Marissa Meyer book left such a bad taste in my mouth, which was Instant Karma. And I was just so nervous to jump into this book because I hated that book so much. But I think Marissa Meyer hits her stride and her best is in retellings. So this is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling and I've heard really good things about it. The only thing that I've heard negative about it is stupid because if you know the original story of Rumpelstiltskin, it makes sense. So I know the original story of Rumpelstiltskin. I kind of know what to expect with this. So super pumped to actually jump into this book. Plus, I believe the sequel, Cursed, I think is what it's called, just dropped. So if I really like this one, I have a good sequel to start off with in January in the new year. Up next, I have Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is a dystopian sci-fi book set in the ruins of Chicago. Now, I've been slowly trying to get into Brandon Sanderson. I really like the Skyward series. So I'm kind of staying in his sci-fi era, but I want to go into his fantasy. I did buy the first Mistborn book to give that series another try. I tried it when I first started getting into reading, and it was just too much for me. But I think if I start just slowly introducing myself into the nonsense and huge worlds that Brandon Sanderson has, I will feel more comfortable. So really excited to jump into this, and I think this is one of his older books. Let's see. 2013, so almost 10 years old. So I'm excited to jump into this one. Up next, I have The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. I meant to read this in the October Halloweeny season, but I just kept pushing it off, and now I'm having this. So this follows two young girls who are babysitters, and witchy stuff starts to happen. And the only thing one of the girls has is find the babysitters. And it's the only thing she has to go off of. And these two girls meet and I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping for fun, witchy vibes mixed with the Babysitters Club. Book Club, I think is what the original 1990s series was called. Up next I have Call It What You Want by Brigid Kemmerer. I love Brigid Kemmerer, and I've been slowly reading her more contemporary novels. She's one of the only YA contemporary authors that I can read and not inwardly cringe. So this is, I think, one of her newer contemporaries. I say that. Yeah, okay, this is 2019. So her others two, Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell, I adored. I believe this is set in the same world but with different characters. So I'm pretty excited to just dive into what I assume is a book that's going to make me sob. Up next, I have Daughter of Sparta by Claire M. Andrews. This follows a Spartan woman who has spent her entire life doing what Spartans do, train. And she ends up making a run-in with the goddess Artemis, who has taken her brother captive. And so our main character ends up making a deal with Apollo to try and save her brother from Apollo's twin sister. I love Greek mythology. I haven't had a great run with Greek mythology lately, so I'm hoping this will bring me back to that love of the Greek myths. So it sounds like we're going to be following a couple of familiar stories, such as with the Maze, with the Minotaur, as well as the Sphinx of Thebes. So I'm hoping there's just a ton of myth and lore within this story to just devour. Up next, I have Stormdancer by Jay Kristoff. I love Jay Kristoff's writing. I've read his Nevernight series. I've read his co-authored series Illuminae, as well as Aurora Rising, and I've been reading more of just his standalone. I've also read his Lifelike series, which I really liked, and this is another one of his standalone series, the Lotus War series, and literally the only thing I know about this is it is steampunk Japanese historical fantasy. And that's kind of all I needed, because that sounds awesome. I love books based with Japanese mythology. Any kind of East Asian mythology I just grab onto because it is just so vibrant and beautiful. So really hoping to see a ton of that within this book. Up next, I have Breath of Fire by Amanda Bouchet. This is the second book in the Promise of Fire, which was our November read for our Apolycon book club. So I enjoyed the first book. Had a little kinks in it that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I liked it enough to jump into the second book, so I want to finish out this series. And it did end up hooking me near the end, so this is book 2. Now, we haven't had the vote for the December book yet at the time I'm filming this. That will be going up on Tuesday, November 29th. So look for that on our Instagram, which will be linked down below in the description for voting. And the last book that I have is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. This is my Owl Crate edition that I just got. This is actually my last Owl Crate. I ended up making the decision to no longer be subscribed. And what a book to end on. This book is gorgeous. I was going to end up getting The Luminaries anyway, so I'm glad that I got it in a box. But this is Susan Dennard, who is the author of the Truth Witch series, which I adore, and it's not done, and I'm a little upset about it, but I believe The Luminaries is based off of a Twitter thread that Susan Dennard did a couple of years ago where she had her followers and people on Twitter it was almost like a choose your own story through Twitter, and she ended up writing that pathing into an actual novel. So a lot shorter than I thought, but I guess with it coming from a Twitter thread, 140 characters or less, I shouldn't be that surprised. So really excited to see what all the hype was about. I am not super on Twitter, so I didn't see any of this when it was coming out, because I think this was like 2018, 2017 when she did this. So otherwise, I'm just really excited for a new Susan Dennard book. And that is my immediate TBR for the month of December. I have some cozy Christmas romances that I have sprinkled in there to break up all the fantasy and sci-fi. So really pumped to have those as well. But for the most part, this is going to be my TBR. So that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, with the occasional Sunday. And I will see you guys in our next video. Bye!